Hi, Jim Roemer, Dr. Weather. Got that name like 20 years ago, forecasting the big droughts in 2011-12 for the grain belt and big bull market in corn and soybeans, and forecasting for ski resorts. I think quite a few ski resorts gave me that name back in the 1990s and even earlier. Let's talk about El Niños, the different strengths of which will have an effect on various global commodities. If you're a farmer that hedges grains or a South American coffee producer or a natural gas company, all these different teleconnections, sea ice, what's going on in India, off the coast of Peru, the El Nino events, all those teleconnections combined with El Nino affect commodity prices. That's what we're going to be talking about in our Weather Wealth newsletter used by farmers and traders all over the world to really get a second guess on markets as I've been analyzing commodities for 35, 40 years and how to trade options and futures, not just give long range and short term forecasts. So let's talk about El Nino. But first of all, real quickly, feel free to print this out. Weak El Nino events there on the left, look at the ocean temperatures in red, tend to create lower coffee prices. Right now, we're seeing generally good weather in Brazil. We have kind of a weak El Nino forming, no frost potential, and tend to create higher corn and soybean prices if we have that in July. If El Nino is weak, we tend to have hotter summers in the Midwest summer. Look at the lower right there, the map way to the right. During a super El Nino event, however, corn and soybean prices tend to go lower, cooler, wetter summers. And as a result of that, natural gas prices too, you'll see those double arrows there on the right, tend to go lower with cooler summers. Right now, natural gas has rallied about 10% the last few days on the psychology of it possibly being a hot summer, building in weather premium. The heat for the next week or two, mainly out in the far west, maybe parts of the northwest corn belt, but not a big deal right now. I've been kind of bearish corn. All this demand news and the Iran war and the shutting down of the Straits of Hormuz has been built into prices in corn. We have generally pretty good crop and good planting weather. So it all is going to depend whether we have a weak El Nino during pollination in July, which would be bullish corn with a hot July, or a moderate to strong one or super El Nino that tend to be more bearish, those markets. So cocoa, natural gas, coffee, all these different commodities are affected by various strengths of El Nino. And we'll be talking about this more in my newsletter, Weather Wealth, over the weeks and months to come. So will we have a super one? May not be. It may just be moderate to strong. That's what we're looking at right now. Look at the warming there in the Pacific along the equator. And that's happening across much of the world because of a combination of climate change, where there's real folks and El Nino. And as you can see, again, you're seeing the expansion of that red warm temperatures and how that becomes strong how much warmer above normal will it be over the next few months in the Pacific? Where it's in green is wetter summers potentially. Maybe Midwest summers could be wet if we have a strong El Nino at 3.4. Okay. And again, what we really want to be watching out for is the trade winds. They've been blowing kind of east to west over the last year or two, which is a La Nina situation. Okay. And those trade winds affect not just the ocean temperatures, but climatological patterns around the world. And again, that east to west gradient brought droughts to the wheat areas in the plains, though the wheat market's built in this poor crop recently already. Good crops for wheat around the world and other parts like Australia and Russia. And basically, with an El Nino situation, those trade winds that bring up cooler waters from about 100 meters below the Earth's surface near Peru, those trade winds tend to weaken. Okay, during the La Nina event, again, you have the upwelling, the cool ocean temperatures, which brings great amount of fish off the coast of Brazil and Peru and good crops for coffee. We've been bearish coffee for 9 months. Okay, that's that red tongue there, though, and that's starting to form with the cooler waters kind of going away. Okay, here's a picture. The top map is North America, 3D. The lower to the right is Brazil. Look at the trade winds now are shifting from west in yellow to east. So that's actually bringing warm air from Australia along the equator, and it's killing that blue tongue, that La Nina. See there near Peru? becoming warmer. So we need the trade winds. That's how we reduce the upwelling, the cooler ocean temperatures, and depending on how quickly that forms will make a big difference, folks, if you should be hedging corn and beans this summer or not, or if corn will go to $5 and beans to 15. Okay, flooding happens in the south, droughts in Australia later this year, and hurricanes in the Pacific. There's the warming that we expect over the next few months. But again, the trade winds have to also be in sync with those ocean temperatures, okay, to create a full-fledged El Nino. It's not just the ocean temperatures that make a difference. Looking back to 1950, where you see readings around 2 degrees above normal in the central Pacific. That tends to be at least a moderate to strong El Nino. We have one, look at that, in 2023, but because of other teleconnections, it wasn't really a strong one, even though you would think it would be because ocean temperatures were so warm. These are the strong El Nino events that circled where the trade winds were in sync with the ocean temperatures. For example, one of the biggest ones, of course, over the last 30 or 40 years was 1997. Another one was 2015. That's what we're going to be watching out for. Those strong El Ninos, folks, brought bear markets in corn and beans, but bull markets later in the year in cocoa and also coffee. Will it be weak? Will it be strong? Yes, ocean temperatures are supposed to be well above normal. That usually means a super El Nino, right? But again, what happens over the Arctic Circle? What happens with sea ice? What happens with the trade winds? All these things have to work together to create a super El Nino. So stay with me, folks. Learn how to trade commodities. Look at my forecast coming up. We're going to be right on top of this for all these different markets, and we hope that we can help you navigate these crazy waters with the war that was going on the last few months. Trade talks. Let's focus on the weather. Let's focus on El Nino and give you some great strategies here in the weeks and months to come. Enjoy.